Hello, all, and welcome once again to Mathematical Morality. This episode is called The Price of Tea because you're probably wondering what the hell this series has to do with the price of tea in China. Well, it actually gets a little bit more interesting than that, courtesy of some recent developments. And by recent, I mean within the last decade or so. I'd like to draw your attention to something that showed up in my Facebook newsfeed just earlier today. Energy costs, energy and food costs are growing concern for many Canadians. Heads we eat, tails we heat. Well, this is happening around the world too for various different reasons. Call it inflation, climate change influencing farming issues, etc. But thought I'd bring up a couple of charts on this very issue. This is from a person named David Stockman. But if you take a look at the increase of basic foodstuffs like 1 dozen eggs, 106.2% increase. Ground beef, 96.3% increase, and this is just from 2000 to 2014. So we're talking just the last 14 years we've had this kind of increase. Let's see here. What else have we gotten here that might be of importance? There should be a thing on heating homes. Oh, average private college tuition, 68% increase. This is in the U.S. Let's see here. Coffee, 52.9% increase just for the price of a cup of coffee per pound. So these should be things which should be of concern to the average person, that their money is going to be stretching less and less as time goes on. Because of the fact that these increases are happening left, right, and center, one has to wonder, well, if we're running low on resources for farming and for even being able to get a reasonable size housing for the average population, especially when we're 7 billion people on the planet increasing, it does raise a bit of a scenario, a concern for what future scenarios might hold. There's two possible ways we could solve this problem. One of which is massive dieback, which I don't like the looks of, because that would require that somebody decides who is worth saving and who is worth killing. And we've seen throughout history what can happen with that. Individual groups get ostracized and then promptly genocided. And we've already got concerns about that possibly happening in the United States coming up in the next few years for particular reasons, which I won't get into in this video. So rather than avoiding that, I'd like to propose a secondary possibility. The original paper that I posted on this, that inspired this series, On Science as Morality, when it got published in Autism Zone, one of the things it was talking about was the idea of doing space colonization to solve the resource distribution problem. But actually, let's take a step further back. Why is it that these basic necessities like electricity, eggs, ground beef, etc. Why are food, gas, etc. all increasing, and why do they need to continue increasing when they are basic necessities to keep everyone alive? Wouldn't it be more effective to just have enough resources that you distribute on a case-by-case basis so that each person lives according to their, has what they need to work at their optimum, and then the encouragement is that you find your particular job, and from that, go back and provide to society once your basic needs have been taken care of. And then, of course, you find your own. This is an encouragement for people to be able to generate innovation, etc. And to address this problem, where do we get the resources? Where do we get the food, etc.? Well, this is where space travel comes in particularly handy, because there is an entire solar system out there with enough resources, according to the Space Studies Institute and Dr. Gerard K. O'Neill's book, The High Frontier, which is again referenced in the paper and can be found on the Space Studies Institute website, which again is in the description below. However, there are pieces of technology which even suggest that we could grow food in space and possibly be able to provide enough both living space and food for the population. According to NASA back in 2015, here's some examples of lettuce and other leafy greens being grown aboard the International Space Station. The fact that they've already been able to successfully do this just for the crew of the International Space Station, okay, this is more, well, as you can see, the point being is that if they're able to grow basic foods, if they're able to grow basic foods for the crew of the International Space Station with relatively effectiveness, imagine how much more that could be provided for grains and other things like that when scaled up. So the fact that Expedition 44 crew members were able to sample leafy greens grown on the space station is at least a start. As for where we're going to get things like clean drinking water, etc., well, according to a NASA link from 2008, they were able to recycle up to 93% water, courtesy of a new system that was going aboard the ISS via the Space Shuttle Endeavour. So, with that in mind, this is the technology over here. With that in mind, the fact that water recycling and food growth has already happened aboard the International Space Station, this implies that we could easily provide the food and other resources inside closed ecologies on other parts of the solar system, lifeless ones such as the moon and the asteroid belt, that possibly might provide enough food for the entire human race to survive, and we need not have a problem of thinking too small on one planet and the possibility of massive dieback due to climate change and other problems. Now, I'm not saying this is easy peasy, but at least it is a working solution that we can work towards. Now, in the meantime, this also does raise the question about how far can you make your money stretch? Well, there is a possibility, which I'd like to put as a question to the viewers rather than as a suggestion. How many of you on low income, how many of those of you on low income assistance or what have you, have a balcony or other location in your home or even in a garden nearby where you could possibly plant your own vegetables, even just little things like herbs and stuff like that? Is that something that would be of use to you guys to help your food budget stretch farther? Please leave your ideas in the comments below about this, and we shall see you on the next episode of Mathematical Morality. Peace all.